presentation of Argentina. I will please ask you to remain with the microphones closed, and you can use the chat to ask your questions. Claudia and Maite will be at disposal to answer them, and we can also organize a moment for a Q&A at the end of the webinar. So I will now start with the presentation. So we are Eurotur. Eurotur is an Argentinian DMC based in Buenos Aires. We have been operating in Argentina since 1954, so it's been more than 66 years now. We have 4 local offices in Argentina, 2 in Buenos Aires, so 6 actually, 2 in Buenos Aires, 2 in Patagonia, in El Calafate and Ushuaia, and 1 in Salta, in the northwest of Argentina. This gives us a great opportunity to have local control on the local services and operation, and it gives us a great knowledge of Argentina and what it has to offer. Within Eurotur's offices, we have 4 different operating groups: MICE group, Telemaid and FITs, with really trained staff and members in order to answer all of your needs and requests for your passengers. We work with bilingual staff and with all kind of language guides: Italian, Spanish, English, German, Russian, Chinese, Japanese speaking guides, French speaking also within all of Argentina. So Argentina is a very big and wide country with a lot of contrast. It is a country that presents many climates, from the jungle in the northeast, IGUAZU, to the altiplanic deserts, salt flats, glacial lands in the south, fjords near USHUAIA and Tierra del Fuego. We have the lake region, we have volcanoes, we have an Atlantic climate also. So it is a very wide country with a lot of contrast and a lot to discover. We have 1 million kilometers square for 44 million inhabitants, so it is a very wild country. The official language is Spanish, and the currency is the Argentinian peso. So during today's webinar, we will discover Argentinian culture and history, the nature and the landscape of the country, the fauna and wildlife, and of course, what we are really proud of, our gastronomy and wines. I will start the journey with Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is the capital city of Argentina. It's located on the Rio de la Plata's bank, and you can reach Buenos Aires through the Ezeiza International Airport, which is located 45 minutes away from downtown. Ezeiza receives flights from all over the world. We have direct flights with almost all capital cities in Argentina, in Europe, in the US, also Canada, with Australia, New Zealand, and many cities from Asia. Also, Buenos Aires has a second airport, the national airport called Aeroparque, which is located 15 minutes away from downtown hotel, and that will connect you with the rest of Argentina. So as I was saying earlier, Argentina is the capital. Buenos Aires is the main city of Argentina, being its capital. It's a gateway to Argentina, and it is well connected to the rest of South America and Argentina. It is a great introduction to discover Argentina, its culture, history, arts, gastronomy, and sports. And we usually recommend a 2 to 3 nights minimum stay. It is a city you can visit all year round with 4 different climates. And I will present the main tours of Buenos Aires for passengers who arrive there. So the main and most classical tour would be the Buenos Aires City Tour, in order to discover the Argentine culture and the history of Buenos Aires. The city tour can be a half or full day tour. We always start the city tour with the La Boca neighborhood. La Boca is one of the oldest neighborhoods of Buenos Aires. It's where the European immigrants arrived. It was a port before, and they first settled in this neighborhood. The most famous highlight of La Boca would be the Caminito Street, which you can see on the picture. It is a very colorful and picturesque street. The immigrants who arrived in Buenos Aires during the winter were very cold. It is a humid region, and they used to paint their houses with whatever paints they could find in order to isolate it from the humidity and the cold. Then in La Boca, you will also find the Boca Juniors Stadium, which is very famous. It is a worldwide famous football team, and Argentinians are very proud of their soccer players. For example, we had Maradona, Diego Maradona, who used to play in the Boca Juniors Stadium. It is a famous football player who passed away a few weeks ago. Then we continue the city tour through San Telmo neighborhood, which is also a historical neighborhood with many restaurants and historic places. And we arrive at the Plaza de Mayo. Plaza de Mayo is a historical and political center for the Buenos Aires people. It is where most of the manifestations take place, starts and end. And it is where you will find the Casa Rosada. Casa Rosada being the presidential palace. Once we've visited the Plaza de Mayo, we continue the visit to reach the 9 de Julio Avenue. It is very famous for being one of the widest and longest in America. And we will pass by the obelisk, one of Buenos Aires emblems. We will stop by the Buenos Aires sign where passengers can take a picture in front of the obelisk, and we will continue the visit to the Puerto Madero neighborhood. Puerto Madero used to be the docks of Buenos Aires and has now been modernized. You have many fancy restaurants and clubs. It is where we take passengers to have a nice dinner in front of the channel. And you will find the Puente de la Mujer, which is a bridge that can remove itself to let the boats pass. We will continue the tour to the Palermo neighborhood, which is the artistic and bohème neighborhood, and then we will end the tour in the Recoleta neighborhood, one of Buenos Aires' aristocratic and historical neighborhoods. In Recoleta, you will find the Recoleta Cemetery, very famous for having the tomb of Eva Perón. And after the tour of the Recoleta Cemetery, we will go back to the hotels. For passengers who want to discover a bit more of Buenos Aires culture, we recommend a tour to the Colón Theater, famous for having one of the best acoustic in the world. We can organize a guided visit of 1 hour, or we can also book and reserve one of the shows that happen there at night. We also recommend a visit to the Ateneo bookstore, which used to be a theater and is now a library. Quite famous for being one of the most beautiful libraries in the world, according to the Times magazine. For passengers who are interested in tango culture and the porteña culture, we can organize tour with a thematic on Carlos Gardel, being one of the biggest figure of tango, of the Argentinian tango. We organize Eva Perón thematic tours also. Eva Perón is a very strong political and tango figure in the Argentinian culture. This is a little map of Buenos Aires, a picturesque map of Buenos Aires. So you can see all the neighborhood I just presented and that we will pass by during the city tour, starting in La Boca in the south of Buenos Aires, going up to San Telmo, Casa Rosada, Puerto Madero, and then finishing in the northern neighborhood of Recoleta and Palermo. For passengers who have more than a half day or a day in Buenos Aires, we recommend to take a tour to the Tigre and Delta. It can be a full or half day tour. And Tigre is a little town located in the north of Buenos Aires, presenting a very different way of life and cultures in Buenos Aires. It is located in a delta, and its inhabitants, who are called isleños, move around by boat. So when passengers arrived in Tigre, we offer a boat ride, a 2 hours boat ride within the delta, where passengers will be able to see the different islands. During the full day tour, for example, we organize lunch either in Tigre, either in one of the islands, so passengers can see the way of life people have there. Tigre is a place where people from Buenos Aires go on weekends or on holidays to escape a little bit their urban life. Another great way to discover the Argentine culture is the countryside day, or Fiesta Gaucha, as we call it. Gauchos are the Argentinian cowboys, and they live in estancias, which would be Argentinian ranches, which are a very strong point of the Argentine culture. Countryside Aid will give you an opportunity to have a peek at this culture, but you will stay the whole day in one of the estancias. We have many in the region of Buenos Aires, and you will enjoy a typical asado lunch, asado being the typical Argentinian barbecue. Argentina is very famous for its meats. And you will present a gaucho skill show, for example. You can assist in a polo match, some of the estancias, and have a silky ride. Most of the estancias offer a horseback riding experience, some hiking, biking, and you can relax by the swimming pool. It is a great opportunity to discover the gaucho culture that we have around Buenos Aires. Then when visiting Buenos Aires, we always recommend at least one night activity. Buenos Aires is a very vibrant city with a lot to offer. One of the main excursions would be the dinner and tango show. It is a great opportunity for your passengers to have a gastronomical and cultural experience. The excursion is divided in two parts. First of all, you will have the dinner. It is a 3 courses dinner with typical Argentinian dishes. We have vegetarian options also. And then they will present a show, a tango show, which can last 1 to 2 hours according to the tango house you've chosen. The tango show will go through the history of tango, and some of the tango houses also include typical dances from the north of Argentina, for example. You will have different tango houses, different categories according to what you are looking for. For example, this is a picture of Gala Tango, one of the most prestigious tango houses of Buenos Aires. This is another picture of Rojo Tango, another very prestigious tango house of Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a great destination to discover the Argentinian gastronomy. We have many world-famous restaurants, and we always recommend to take a gastronomical tour. Either we take you to a restaurant or we organize the guided tour of the Buenos Aires famous asado places, asado being the barbecue, Argentinian barbecue. You can also participate in some cooking classes. This is, for example, a picture of the excursion called the Argentine Experience, where you will have time to learn how to do empanadas. You will learn how to do mate and how to request a good meat on the Argentinian way. You will learn more about the Argentinian customs. Buenos Aires has a lot to offer. I've talked about the main excursions, but of course for passengers who want to know more about tango, we can organize tango classes, visit to the milongas. Milongas are the clubs where Argentinians go to dance tango. Passengers can participate in the dances, of course. We can organize visit to the football stadium, also polo matches, horse races. We have a lot to offer for all kind of interest and passengers. Buenos Aires is a very traditional destination with, as I was mentioning earlier, a very wide gastronomical offer where you will learn and know more about the famous Argentinian meat, discover the empanadas, the mate, which is the national drink of Argentina, and also discover our sweets with the famous dulce de leche. I will now continue the journey with one of Argentina's main destinations, the IGUAZU Falls and the Deep Jungle. IGUAZU is located on the northeast of Argentina at the border with Paraguay and Brazil. How to reach IGUAZU? You have two options. When you are in Argentina, you can reach IGUAZU by taking a plane to Puerto Iguazú National Airport. You have direct flights from Buenos Aires, Salta, Córdoba, and Mendoza. And if you are coming from Peru or Brazil, you have direct flights from São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Lima on the Brazilian side. IGUAZU, as I was saying earlier, is at the border with Argentina and Brazil. It offers a warm and tropical climate, which make it visitable all year round. It is well connected to the main destinations of Brazil, Peru, and Argentina, and it is a 2 hours flight from Buenos Aires. IGUAZU is famous for the IGUAZU waterfalls, being one of the biggest water complexes in the world, divided in 2 national parks, one in Brazil one in Argentina, and also famous for the Jesuit ruins of St. Ignacio, located south of Iguazu. We recommend a 2 nights minimum stay in order to fully visit the Iguazu waterfalls. I will present to you the main tours we can do in Iguazu. So first of all, we recommend a full day tour to the Iguazu National Park on the Argentinian side. I will show you on the map that the Argentinian side is wider than the Brazilian side. This is why it takes a full day. In the Argentinian side, you will have 3 different circuits, trails. We will arrive at the visitor centers, and once in the visitor centers, you will take a train to the Garganta del Diablo waterfall and to reach this view. The Garganta del Diablo is one of the highest falls of the whole complex, offering a very impressive view. Then you will take the train again and reach the central station of the park, from where you can visit the upper trail, which goes through the jungle and above the waterfalls. This is one of the views, for example. And you will come back to the central station and visit the Lawa Trail, which goes through the jungle and beside the waterfalls. The full day on the Argentinian side can be combined with a 2 hours optional excursion called the Great Adventure. It is a combination of a boat ride and a ride within the jungle. During the boat ride, you will reach the falls and come very near to the falls, so it is always recommended to bring a change of clothes. On the Argentinian side, you can also have a unique experience called the full moon experience, where we take you to the Garganta del Diablo waterfall at night during the full moon, so you will have a very immersive experience. Then we recommend to combine the Argentinian visit to the Brazilian side of the falls, the Iguazu Falls. It is a half-day excursion. The Brazilian side is more narrow than the Argentinian side, but it offers a very wide view. This is why we always say it's really good to combine both the Argentinian and the Brazilian side instead of just choosing one if you can. When arriving at the visitor center, you will take a bus and arrive at the Trilha das Cataratas, the falls trail, and you will reach these views. From the Brazilian side, as you can see, we have a permanent rainbow when it is a sunny day, and you will have a very wide view of the falls. On the Brazilian side, you can take an optional helicopter ride. It is a 10-minute ride over the waterfalls. Also, from the Brazilian side, you can combine the visit to the bird park sanctuary, where you will learn more about the preservation of the local fauna. This is a picture of a toucan, for example. Then for passengers who stay more than 2 days in Iguazu, we recommend a visit to the San Ignacio Jesuit ruins. It is one of the biggest Jesuit ruins complex in Argentina, which were very present in the history of Argentina, and it will give an insight on our history. Now we are heading to Patagonia. Patagonia is a very big and wide region with different climates and landscapes, and one of the most famous would be El Calafate, homeland to the Perito Moreno glaciers and Patagonian estancias. So El Calafate is located at the south of Patagonia at the border with Chile near Torres del Paine. You can reach El Calafate by plane with direct flights from Buenos Aires, Ushuaia, Bariloche, and Puerto Madryn, or by bus for those who are in Chile visiting Puerto Natales and Torres del Paine. You have direct buses to El Calafate. El Calafate is one of Patagonia's main destinations. It is well connected to the rest of Patagonia and Chile, and it is a 3 hour and 15 minutes flight from Buenos Aires. It is the homeland to the Glacier Perito Moreno. You have Patagonian estancias, which are quite different from the estancias you will find in Buenos Aires. It is a great destination for active and adventure tourism, and it is also the access to El Chaltén, which is the national capital of trekking. As it is a big region, we recommend a 2 to 3 nights minimum stay, and you can visit the Glaciar Perito Moreno all year round, but some excursions are not available during the low season. High season is during our summer, from October to April, and the low season is from May to September during our winter. The main tours in El Calafate are, of course, the Glacier Perito Moreno full day. So during a full day trip, we will travel to the Los Glaciares National Park and reach the catwalks in front of the Perito Moreno Glacier. During the whole day, you will have time to discover all the trails in front of the glacier. The catwalks are quite wide, and you will offer a different views of the glacier. These are some examples. From the catwalks, you can see and hear the glacier. The glacier is in constant movement and is quite impressive because you always have big or little pieces falling into the Argentina lake. It is a very impressive show. And we recommend to add 2 hours, 1 hour and a half boat trip called Safari Nautico, on which you will ride the boat to reach the south wall of the glacier. This optional excursion will give you another view of the glacier from the water and give you a different perspective of this very impressive glacier. Then another way to visit the Perito Moreno Glacier is by taking the mini trekking excursion, during which you will take a boat ride, reach the glacier, walk on the moraine, and then have an ice trek, a 2 hours ice trek on the Perito Moreno, and come back to land. For passengers who are more active, we recommend the big ice experience, during which you will walk during 3 hours on the Perito Moreno Glacier. We also have another kind of experience to discover the Perito Moreno called the Moreno Kayak Experience, during which you will navigate through the icebergs being in the kayak. It is a very impressive experience as icebergs are very high and we feel very small once in the kayak. A great way to discover more about the glaciers and the region is to combine a visit to the Perito Moreno with the Glaciarium Museum. The Glaciarium Museum is one of the only glaciology museums in the world, and you will get to know more about the formation of glaciers, the south ice field of Patagonia, and why it is important to preserve glaciers in our ecosystem. Then once you've visited the Perito Moreno Glacier, we always recommend to take a boat trip. The Perito Moreno Glacier is one of the glaciers of the area, but we have others like the Uppsala, Speccazzini, for example. And we have boat trips that will allow you to see those other glaciers from the water. I represent some of the boat trips today. We have the Old Glacier cruise, which is one of the most classical one, from where you will see the Speccazzini and Uppsala Glacier, and then you will disembark on the Speccazzini refuge, have time for lunch there, and come back to El Calafate. We also have the Glacier Gourmet full day experience. It is a full day boat trip during which you will see also the Speccazzini and Uppsala Glacier, and then you will navigate in front of the Perito Moreno North Wall and come back to El Calafate. During this boat trip, you will have lunch on board, which is quite a unique experience. We also have 2 days, 1 night, or 3 days, 2 nights cruise on the Lake Argentino and its many branches, visiting all of the glaciers, called the Spirit of the Glaciers. During this cruise, you will reach the most remote places of the region and see a very different El Calafate. Then we have a great excursion to combine both navigation and an estancia, typical Patagonian estancia. It is called the Estancia Cristina. It is one of the most famous estancias of the region. The Estancia Cristina is located on the north part of the Los Glaciares National Park, and it is only reachable by boat. So the excursion always starts with a boat trip, and arriving at the Estancia, you will then have 4 options to visit the region. The most classical one would be the Estancia Cristina Classic. Once you've reached Estancia after the boat trip, you stay at the Estancia, visit the museum, learn more about its history, you have time for lunch. Can visit one of the waterfalls very near the Estancia, and then at the end of the day, you come back to El Calafate. Then you can opt for the Estancia Cristina Discovery Excursion, which I strongly recommend, because once you arrive at the Estancia Cristina, you take a 4x4 ride and reach the Uppsala Glacier viewpoint, which is a unique viewpoint in the region. There is no other way to see this glacier, and it is the closest one too. So it really makes the trips worthwhile. Then you come back to the Estancia Cristina, visit the museum, have time for lunch, and spend the rest of the day in the Estancia before coming back to El Calafate. For more active passengers, we recommend the Estancia Cristina Trekking's Fossil Canyon. Passengers will also take the ride to the Uppsala viewpoint, and then they will come back to the Estancia with a 13 kilometers hike through the Fossils Canyon, where you will learn more about the prehistoric history of the region. We also have a horseback riding option for passengers who seek a bit of adrenaline, during which you will spend the day riding in the Estancia's land. Another typical and traditional estancia of the region is the Estancia Nibepo hike. You can visit it on a half or full day excursion. It always includes lunch or dinner, a ship show also, and you will learn more about its history, its first inhabitants, how they arrived there, and the history of the estancia. For passengers who arrive with an early flight or leave with a late flight, we have half-day experiences. This one is called the Safari Experience, where you will board 4x4 vehicles and reach some viewpoints of the region of El Calafate. You will have a great view over the Lake Argentino, discover the local fauna with the guanacos, which are kind of southern llamas, and the local birds also. We also have the Nativo experience. It includes lunch or dinner, and you will learn during this excursion. You will also have access to the viewpoints of Buenos Aires, of El Calafate region, but you will also learn more about the first inhabitants of the region and visit a cave where you will have some paintings. El Calafate and the south of Patagonia is famous for its estancia and for, of course, its gastronomy with the asado patagónico, Patagonian barbecue, being the main protagonist being the lamb. So most of the estancia tours include a lunch or a dinner with a taste of the asado patagónico. I will now talk about El Chaltén. Being the national capital of trekking, El Chaltén is reachable by a 3 hours ride from El Calafate by land. It is famous for being the homeland to the Fitzroy Summit, and it is reachable from October to April. El Chaltén is a destination for passengers who like hiking, who are a bit active, but it is also a destination for passengers who are looking for amazing landscapes and are not willing to do hikes. We have some options for them too. So this is a picture of the kind of landscapes you can access in El Chaltén with the Rio de las Vueltas Canyon. Chorrillo del Salto is one of the easy hikes of the region. It's a 3 hours hike from El Chaltén. It has no altitude, or almost not very demanding, to show you that we have options for passengers who are not active. Then we have one of the most famous trek of the region, Laguna de los Tres. This one is a very demanding hike for fit passengers. It is a full day excursion. Then we also recommend, for example, a less touristic attraction called the Glacier Caliero. It is a combination of via ferrata and ice trek. It requires a good physical condition, but to show you that we can also organize tours, less touristic tours in very remote places. And then for passengers who are not very active and still want to access beautiful landscapes, we recommend the Lago del Desierto full day, during which you will take a car ride to reach the Lago del Desierto. And once there, you will board on a little boat and cross the lake to access one of the private reserves on the other side of the lake. And as you can see, you have a very beautiful view of the Fitzroy Summit and the region. We will now leave El Calafate to go to Ushuaia and the Tierra del Fuego island. it is famous for being the end of the world. So Ushuaia is located at the most southern part of the Argentinian Patagonia. It is reachable by plane. You have daily flights from Buenos Aires, El Calafate, and Puerto Madryn. And you can also reach Ushuaia by bus for passengers who are staying in Chile, in the south of Chile. So as you can see on this map, Ushuaia is located on the big island of Tierra del Fuego. It is isolated from the rest of the continent. Ushuaia is the most southern city of the world. It is also the gateway to Antarctica. You have many cruises departing and arriving from Antarctica to Ushuaia. And it is well connected to the rest of Patagonia, being one of the main destinations of Argentine Patagonia too. And it is a 3 hour and 35 minutes flight from Buenos Aires. The touristic attractions in Ushuaia will be the Tierra del Fuego National Park, its wildlife. We have penguins and sea lions colonies, the historical prison, as it used to be a prison in the early 20th century. It is also a winter sport resort where we have most of the European ski teams coming during our winter, their summer to train. It is a cruise destination, and we recommend to stay 2 to 3 nights minimum in order to visit the region. We have a high season during our summer from October to April, and then a low season from May to September, with a high winter season for the ski resort between June and August. It is visitable all year long. The main tours in Ushuaia and Tierra del Fuego. The first one we recommend would be the Tierra del Fuego National Park. It is a half-day tour. The national park is located 20 minutes away from Ushuaia, so it is very close. We usually recommend a visit in the morning to have the best lights and avoid the crowds. When arriving in the national park, you can opt for an optional train ride with the train to the end of the world. It is a train prisoners used to take from Ushuaia to what is now the national park, to cut woods. So during this train ride, the passengers will access some parts of the park that are not accessible by vehicle. You will have one stop at a waterfall, and then they will continue to reach the heart of the national park, where the guide will wait for them, and they will continue the trip by vehicle to the Bahia La Pataya, Bahia Ensenada, and then the Lake Asegami. We also have active options in the national park for passengers who are seeking adrenaline. We have an excursion that combines hike and kayak on the lakes. Once you visited the National Park Tierra del Fuego, we recommend to add a boat trip on the Beagle Channel. We have many different options. I will present them to you. We have the most classical Beagle Channel cruise. It is a 2.5-hour cruise, and we usually recommend to take it in the afternoon or in the morning before boarding a flight to Buenos Aires or El Calafate, for example. During this cruise, you will visit the Sea Lion Islands and the Les Éclaireurs Lighthouse and come back to Ushuaia. Then we have the option of the Beagle Channel cruise with descent, where you will visit the Sea Lion Island, the Les Éclaireurs Lighthouse, and then you will disembark on a little island where you will have a remain of the Shamana culture, which used to be the first inhabitant of the region. You have a 15 to 20 minutes little hike, not demanding at all, with a very well path, and come back to the boat and come back to Ushuaia. Then we have the options including penguins watching. So it is a 5-hour cruise. You will leave Ushuaia, pass by the Sea Lion Island, Les Éclaireurs Lighthouse, and reach Isla Martillo, where you will find the penguins colony. On this option, you do not disembark from the boat. You observe the penguins from the boat, and you come back to Ushuaia. For passengers who want to see more of the Tierra del Fuego and Beagle Channel, we have the Beagle cruise with Estancia Harberton. It is an 8-hour excursion. You leave Ushuaia by land, you reach the Estancia Harberton, you visit the Estancia Harberton, and then you come back to Ushuaia by boat. And we also have an option that combines the Estancia Harberton with a walk with penguins on the Isla Martillo. When reaching the Estancia Harberton, you will embark on a little Zodiac. and you will reach Isla Martillo, disembark, and have a walk among the penguins. And for passengers who have more time in Ushuaia, we recommend to take a city tour to learn more about its history, its culture, its foundations. It is a 3-hour tour. It will combine a ride on this double-decker bus where you will go through the city of Ushuaia, learn more about its culture, and then we can combine it with one of the museums or two of the museums, the End of the World Museum, where you learn more about the local cultures, the shamans, and the local fauna, and the Presidio Museum, which used to be the prison and is now transformed in a museum. Then we also have options for passengers who want to discover the regions and not only Ushuaia and have a bit more time in the region. We recommend the lake off-road excursion. It is a full-day tour during which you will visit the lakes Fagnano and Escondido, only reachable by 4x4 crossing through the forest. You will learn more about the local fauna and flora, for example, about the beavers who were imported from Canada in the early 20th century. And you will have this kind of landscapes. And for passengers who are active, we have several options. One of the most famous one is the Laguna Esmeralda trekking. Nowadays, it is a very famous trekking and very touristic attractions. It is not very physically demanding, so we have a lot of people on the trails. We usually recommend to opt for the Laguna Turquesa hike and Monte Carabajal, which is more remote and less touristic. Or, for example, the Glaciar Vinciguerra excursion, which is quite impressive also. We also can offer canoe, kayak, and trekking options, during which passengers also go to the Isla Martillo and walk among the penguins. And of course, as I was saying earlier, the winter resort Cerro Castor, where you can ski, have a ride with the huskies, and discover the region in a different way. Ushuaia is famous for its local gastronomy, the Santosha, a king crab. We can organize excursions during which you will fish the king crab and then eat what you've fished. We will continue the trip, leave the south of Patagonia and go to the northern Patagonia with its very famous Bariloche lakes and mountains region. We have, so Bariloche is located at the border with Chile on the northern part of Patagonia. You can reach Bariloche with daily flights from Buenos Aires and El Calafate, or by bus when you are in Chile, on the Chilean part in Puerto Varas. It is located at the north of Patagonia, as I said. It is a great destination to combine Chilean Patagonia and Chilean Argentinian Patagonia. It is a 2.5-hour flight from Buenos Aires. Bariloche is famous for being the lakes region. It is also famous for its winter sport resort, and it is also an adventure destination. We recommend a 2 to 3 nights minimum stay, and we have 2 high seasons, the summer high season from October, November to March, and the winter high season from June to August. This is a little map of the region where you can see where Bariloche is, the Nahuel Huapi Lake, and I will present to you the main excursions in the region, but so you have an idea of the distances. So the main tours. A great way to discover Bariloche and its region is the small circuit. It is a half-day tour during which you will pass the city center of Bariloche, visit the civic center, reach the Cerro Campanario with a lift to the top of this hill. You will have a great view of the lakes region. This is a winter view, for example. And you will continue on the Xiao Xiao Peninsula, where you will also find the Xiao Xiao Hotel, one of the best hotels in Argentina. This is a winter view of the Xiao Xiao Hotel, for example. And then you will come back to Bariloche. Then we also recommend to take the Great Circuit. It is a full-day tour. You leave Bariloche on National Route 40. You will reach the Enchanted Valley, offering very different views from the rest of the region. Reach Villa Traful, a very small city located on the banks of Traful Lake. You will have time to visit the locality, and you will continue to Villa La Angostura, with nice views also, and come back to El Calafate. Then we recommend another full-day tour is San Martin de los Andes by the Seven Lakes route. San Martin de los Andes is a village located north of Bariloche, and to reach it we have a road called the Seven Lakes route, during which you will stop at each of its 7 lakes and admire the great landscapes. It is a very scenic view, and you will have time to stop and take pictures at each of its highlights. This is the little village of San Martin de los Andes and the Lake Lacar in front of San Martin de los Andes. Then in Bariloche, we have different navigation options. One of the most famous one would be the navigation to Isla Victoria and the Arrayanes forest. It is a full-day excursion. From Bariloche, you reach Puerto Panuelo, from where you embark, and you will reach the Isla Victoria after a boat ride. Then you will go to the Parque Nacional Arrayanes and come back to Bariloche. Another one of the famous navigation excursion is Puerto Bles and Los Cántaros waterfall. So you leave Puerto Panuelo, reach Puerto Bles, which is this picture, and reach Los Cántaros waterfall before going back to Bariloche. And I will now finish presenting the region of Bariloche with the lake crossing to Chile. It is a full-day trip. It can also be a 2 days, 1 night trip. You leave Bariloche by bus, you reach Puerto Panuelo, and then you take a boat ride to Puerto Bles. In Puerto Bles, you can choose to spend the night or continue your trip to Chile. You take another boat ride to Puerto Frias, and a bus ride to Peusha. You cross to Chile. From Peusha, you take a boat ride to Petrohue, visit the waterfalls, you have views of the Osorno volcano, and then you take a boat ride to arrive to Puerto Varas. This excursion is a great way to combine Argentina and Chile, and allows you to avoid another flight from one airport to the other. And it is an excursion that is very scenic, so passengers don't feel like they are traveling long distances. See some of the views you have during this excursion: pass by Puerto Bles, Lake Frias, Osorno volcano, and then you reach Puerto Varas. Bariloche is also a great region for mountaineering and active options. You have different hiking trails all around Bariloche and San Martin de los Andes. You have the Cerro Tronador hike, mountain bike options in all the region, kayak, rafting. We have for all kinds of passengers, of course. And Bariloche is very famous for its being a fishing destination. And these are some pictures of the winter resort. During our winter, we can organize skiing trips or surfing trips, snowboard trips, of course. And what is very unique about this region is that you can ski in one of the best snow in the world with views over the lake, which is quite unique. Bariloche is famous for having historical German and Swiss descendants, so a very strong gastronomical, typical gastronomical experience is a chocolate and beer tasting in Bariloche. We will now finish a presentation of Patagonia with visiting Puerto Madryn and the Pinos Valdes, offering a very rich wildlife. Puerto Madryn is located on the north of Argentina, the Patagonia, but on the Atlantic Ocean side. You can reach Puerto Madryn with direct flights from Buenos Aires, Ushuaia, and El Calafate to Trelew Airport. It is a natural regional reserve. It has a great connection with Patagonia, and it is a 2 hours flight from Buenos Aires. It is a wildlife destination. It is also an adventure destination and a cruise stopover. We usually recommend 2 to 3 nights minimum stay, and it is a seasonal destination since it is a wildlife destination. We have whales from July to December and penguins from September to March. So the best moments would be from end of September to mid-December if you want to see both the whales and the penguins. I will present the main tours in Puerto Madryn and Peninsula Valdes. So here's the little maps of region. You can see Trelew and its airport, and from Trelew you can reach Puerto Madryn, have an overnight in Puerto Madryn, and then visit the Peninsula Valdez. You have different kind of tours in the Peninsula Valdez. And as you can see on the orange trail, a visit to the Punta Tombo Natural Reserve, which is a penguin colony. So I'm showing this map because it is a wide and big region, and it is important to take the time to visit it. So I will present different landscapes about the Peninsula Valdez. Peninsula Valdez is a full-day tour. It usually is either the south of Peninsula Valdez or the north part of Peninsula Valdez. The first stop would be at Punta Delgada, where you have sea lion colonies. You will have time to take pictures of the sea lion colonies. And when you visit the northern part of the Peninsula Valdez, we stop by the Estancia San Lorenzo and visit the Estancia. The peculiarity about this Estancia is that they have a private penguin colony. You have different trails from half an hour to 3 hours to visit the penguin colony. And you can observe their way of life. When reaching the Peninsula Valdez, we stop by Puerto Piramides, which is a local village before entering the reserve, from where you can take a whale watching cruise. It is an optional cruise during the whale season. And during this whale watching cruise, you will have the opportunity to observe the whales from very close. We have different options. You have a sunset option for photography lovers, for example, or a submersive experience with a yellow submarine experience. Then for passengers who have more than one full day, we always recommend at least 2 full days in Puerto Madryn. We recommend the Punta Tombo full day tour. Punta Tombo is a penguin colony. It is the biggest in the whole American continent. So you will have the opportunity to observe millions of penguins in one place only. During this tour, you will visit the Punta Tombo Interpretative Center and learn more about the local fauna and flora. Then for passengers who are seeking more immersive experiences, less touristic, we recommend El Pedral Safari. El Pedral is a little estancia located south of Puerto Madryn in Punta Ninfa. It's 1 hour away from Puerto Madryn. When arriving at the estancia, passengers will have the time to visit the private penguin colony, sea lion colony, and then they will have an asado in the estancia and come back to Puerto Madryn. For passengers who are a bit more active and want unique experience, we can offer active options like snorkeling and kayak with sea lions, where during which you can also see the whales sometimes. It is a great option for honeymooners, for example. We also have a whale safari in which you will spend the day looking after the whales. Mountain bike and hike in the region, which are great ways to discover the Peninsula Valdez in a different optic. So now we will continue the visit with another region of Argentina. We have left Patagonia and now we are in the northwest of Argentina, with the localities of Salta and Jujuy. Salta is located on the northwest of Argentina. You can reach Salta with daily flights from Buenos Aires, IGUAZU, Córdoba, and Mendoza. And we also have the Jujuy National Airport with daily flights from Buenos Aires. As Salta is at the border with Chile and Bolivia, you also have regular buses from and to San Pedro de Atacama, located in Chile. This region is called the NOA, northwest of Argentina. It has an easy combination with Chile, with the Atacama Desert, and Bolivia, the Uyuni Salt Flats. It is an easy combination with IGUAZU and Mendoza with direct flights also, and it is a 2 hours flight from Buenos Aires. Salta and the northwest has a very strong history and culture. We will also have a lot of nature and adventure attractions. You will find deserts, canyons, shungas, which shungas are the jungle, and salt flats. It has a very strong and typical culture and gastronomy, and it is also very famous for its high altitude wines. As it is a very wide and big region, we recommend 3-4 nights minimum stay, and you can visit the region all year round, taking into account that from December to March, it is a rainy season and some of the destinations might not be reachable. So this is a map of the region. As you can see, we like to divide the region in two parts with Salta. Then we visit the south part of the region, Cachi and Cafayate, called the Calchaquíes Valley. And later we visit the Purmamarca, Quebrada de Humahuaca, and Tilcara portion with the Salinas Grandes salt flats, which is higher in altitude. So it's good that when you arrive in Salta, you remain at least 1 night in Salta, and then we start with the tour to the south part, which is lower in altitude, so you can adapt, and then go on to Purmamarca when you are more accommodated with the altitude. I will present to you the main tours. So arriving in Salta, we recommend a walking city tour through the colonial streets of Salta. Salta is called Salta la Linda. Salta is beautiful in Spanish, and it has a lot of historical monuments. During the city tour, you will visit the San Francisco Cathedral and the MAM, the High Altitude Museum, in which you will find the Lulaico mummies, mummies that were found in one of the highest volcanoes in America, near in the region of Salta. In Salta, we recommend a visit to a peña and a local gastronomy experience. As I was saying before, we have a different gastronomical offer in Salta and the North region with a lot of empanadas, humitas, which are corn-based food. I will start the presentation of the region with the Cafayate and Calchaquíes Valley. So from Salta, we go south. We usually recommend to leave Salta and go to Cachi through the Quebrada de Escoipe, Recta de Tintín, and then continue from Cachi to Cafayate with the Quebrada de las Flechas, and from Cafayate come back to Salta visiting the wineries in Cafayate and the Quebrada de las Conchas. I will show you some pictures. So when you leave Salta to reach Cachi, you will pass through the Cuesta del Obispo, offering a wonderful view of the region once you've passed the Xunga region. Then you will reach the San Rafael Chapel on the way to Cachi, pass through the National Park Los Carrones. Carrones are those big cactus we can see on the picture. We're passing through the Recta de Tintín, which is a road the Inca built in their times, and arrive to Cachi. Cachi is a little traditional village in the heart of the Calchaquí valleys, in where you have a historical, archaeological, and historical museum. You can choose to spend the night in Cachi or continue your trip to Cafayate. If you continue your trip to Cafayate, you will pass through the Quebrada de las Conchas with its very unique rock formations, and you will reach Cafayate. Cafayate is famous for its wine production. We produce a lot of Torrontes wine there, and it's a high altitude wine. In Cafayate, we will visit one winery, have a wine tasting. For passengers who opted for the 2 days, 3 days option, they will stay 1 night in Cafayate. And for those who want to visit Cafayate in a full day excursion, we will pass through the Quebrada de las Conchas when we go back to Salta. In the Quebrada de las Conchas, you have different highlights and stop, like the Garganta del Diablo, for example, or here at the heart of the Quebrada de Cafayate. Then we come back to Salta, we spend 1 night, and we recommend to, after a night, visit the Quebrada de Humahuaca, Purmamarca, and Salt Flat regions, which are located in the Jujuy region. You can choose either to go to the Salt Flat and Purmamarca in a full day tour, or to the Quebrada de Humahuaca and Purmamarca, or to combine all of those attractions in a 2 to 3 days circuit. So we leave Salta and we reach Purmamarca, where you will find the 7 Colors Hill. Purmamarca is a little village in the heart of the Quebrada de Humahuaca. And from Purmamarca, you can continue to the Quebrada de Humahuaca or go to the salt flats of Salinas Grandes. Then once we visited Purmamarca, where you also have a handicraft market where you can buy some of the local handicraft, we continue this is a view of the Los Corredores Canyon. You can have a little hike. It's located in Purmamarca also. Once you visited Purmamarca, we continue to the Quebrada de Humahuaca. We reach TIERRA, which is a very historical village located in the heart of the Quebrada, where you will visit the Pucara de Tilcara, an ancient and historical monument of the first inhabitants of the region. Once we visited the Pucara de Tilcara, we will continue to Humahuaca, and from Humahuaca you can choose to have an optional extension to the Hornocal Hill, which is also called the Cerro de los 14 Colores, because we have different 14 tones of colors there. It is very high in altitude, and then we go back to either Purmamarca or Salta for those who chose a full day. If you come back to Purmamarca, you can take the time to visit one of the high altitude wineries we have, the Ukiya winery, offering a very alternative and different experience, as one will not be expecting to find wines in these very dry regions. And when you reach back Purmamarca, you either spend the night or you chose to do the full day tour to the Salinas Grandes. To reach the Salinas Grandes, you will have to pass through the Cuesta de Lipan, which is a very impressive slope that will take you really high in altitude. It is also the road to reach Chile and San Pedro de Atacama. And then we reach the Salinas Grandes salt flats. We take the time to take some pictures. Here, you can, if you're lucky, you can see some vicuñas, local fauna. And we continue the trip to San Antonio de los Cobres. San Antonio de los Cobres used to be a mining village and now is a touristic village where you will find very strong local culture and tradition and the train to the clouds. We will stop by the Porvorrisha Viaduct, which is one of the most ingenious art of the century, of the 20th century, and you can take a train ride with the train to the clouds. In the whole Jujuy and Salta region, we also offer many active options, like a llama walk in Tilcara. You can bike in the Jujuy region and reaching the salt flats and have a biking ride on the salt flats. You can do a hike in the Quebrada de las Señoritas, horseback riding experience in Tilcara. In the Cafayate region, we have many different active options, like a hike in the Quebrada de Cafayate, biking in Cachi. We can horseback in the vineyards also. In Cafayate, we have some wine lodge that offer different experience with wine tasting and for relaxing experience for passengers who are looking for a different kind of adventure. And we will finish this journey through Argentina with the region of Mendoza, its wine and its high altitude experiences. Mendoza is located at the foothill of the Andes. It's near the border with Chile. You can reach Mendoza with daily flights from Buenos Aires, Salta, IGUAZU, Córdoba, but also from Santiago de Chile and from Lima in Peru. You can also combine Chile and Mendoza with regular buses from Santiago de Chile. It's a full day ride and it's a very scenic route. So Mendoza is famous for being a worldwide wine region. We are ranked 8th wine producer in the world. It is a Malbec's homeland. It is great for gastronomical tourism, adventure tourism. It's famous for the Cusco. It's located in the Cusco region, and it's very famous for the Aconcagua summit, being the first peak in America and the second in the world after the Everest, of course. It is a 2-hour flight from Buenos Aires, and being quite a big region, we recommend a 3 to 4 nights stay. You can visit the region all year round, and you have the grape harvest in February and March with little festivals. It is a great moment to visit the destination to know more about the wine history in the region. The main tours in Mendoza. First of all, of course, you have the city tour. It's a half-day tour around the city where you will learn more about its history, its activities, and why it is one of the best regions in the world to grow wine. And then we have many kinds of wine tours. It can be half or full day excursions according to the time your passengers have and what they want to see. We have 3 different wine regions around Mendoza. We have the Luján de Cuyo and Maipú, which are the closest to Mendoza, and then Valle de Uco, which is located 1 hour away, 1 hour and a half away from Mendoza. When visiting Mendoza and wanting to discover more about the wine, we usually recommend to stay in one of the wine lodges in one of the 3 regions of the Cuyo region. We have all kinds of wine lodge, from tourist class to first premium and luxury lodges offering different experiences. During a wine tour, you will visit from 2 to 3 different wineries. In the region, we have more than 1,500 wineries and more than 300 sunny days in the year. So it is a great region to discover more about the wine production. We have different kind of wine tasting. The classical tasting will include one of the selected wineries here, like most famous one would be Nietos and Etiner, for example, Vistalba, Clos de Chacra, or Alta Vista, Norton. We have many more, of course. And during a classic wine tasting, you will visit 2 to 3 wineries. During a full day tour, you will have a lunch included in one of the wineries, and then you will go back to Mendoza. Then we can offer premium testing with private tours and higher standards winery selection, like Catena Zapata, for example, Shandon, De Cero Winery, Septima, Piatli. Again, we have a big variety of wineries to visit. This is a picture of the Piatli Winery. Trapiche Winery, who also offers a gourmet night experience where you have a dinner made by a local chef and you can participate in the cooking. And Mendoza is also famous for its olive oil process. We have the Zucardi Winery, who also produces olive oil. In some of the full day tours, we can include an olive oil factory visits and testing, of course. We can visit the wineries in a different way, participating in the harvest or bike tours, for example. This is pictures of the Valle de Uco, which is a region located further from Buenos Aires, from Mendoza, 1 hour and a half car ride from Mendoza. So it usually is a full day tour. We also have the Catena World Experience, where you spend the whole day in the winery, you have different wine testing, and you eat at the El Enemigo restaurant, which is a Catena Zapata restaurants. Mendoza is a high-end gastronomical destination with a lot of worldwide famous chefs. So we can organize cooking classes and gastronomical dinners, lunch in some of the very high-end wineries. Cooking classes, as I was saying. We can organize biking tours in the vineyards to experience the vineyards in a different way. Horseback riding in the vineyards also. Those are the whole different ways to visit the wineries and have a different experience. Then, for passengers who want to discover more than wine, we can offer the High Mountain Tour. It's a full day tour by car or bus, so it's not a hike tour. You will pass the Potricheros Reserve, then the Puente del Inca, which is a historical place, the Cristo Redentor de los Andes when reaching Uspallata, and you will arrive at the entrance of the provincial park Aconcagua, from where you can observe the Cerro Aconcagua, and then you will come back to Mendoza. For passengers who are more active and looking for adrenaline, we have many active options. We have horseback riding, then different kinds of hikes. When you hike in Mendoza, you can choose not to do the Aconcagua summit. Of course, we have the Confluencia trek, for example. Well, the Aconcagua trek, which takes a few days. We have many different hikes also. We can organize rafting excursion, ziplining, excursions for active passengers. Well, thank you very much for staying with us on this webinar. You can follow us on our Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. You can also visit our website. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, it is a very general presentation of Argentina. We are a tailor-made company with very trained staff. So if you have any questions about a region we did not mention or more specific excursions, please feel free to contact us and we can organize a one-to-one meeting to show you more about Argentina. And we leave you our mails. Is there any questions?
So, yeah, thanks Adele for this great presentation. And as we can see, there is no questions, no doubts on the chat. So Adele, once again, congratulations for a crystal clear presentation.
Thank you. We will, of course, share the presentation on our YouTube channel. We will publish it as we recorded the presentation. So we will send you the links after.
So thanks everybody for your time, your attention, and have a great day.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So, bye everybody. Ciao.
Bye. We will. Hi, Michelle.
Ça va, Adèle? C'était pas trop dur?
Ça va.
Tout en anglais comme ça, mais ça va, c'est bien.
Ça va.
J'ai loupé le début parce que j'étais dans le train. Je suis toujours dans le train, en fait, parce que j'avais des trucs ce matin, mais bon, je me suis dit, allez, je me suis branché sur le téléphone et ça s'est bien passé. J'ai à peu près tout entendu.
On t'enverra la version YouTube.
Oui, bah, je regarderai. Mais c'est assez général, mais bon, c'est toujours intéressant. Je connaissais pas les trucs de Hornal, là, dans le nord.
De
Les montagnes